All right, here we are at another crazy one. I saw this one, had to stop, and we're gonna cut it in typical Juggernaut fashion. We're gonna do it for free. So hey, if you do enjoy this video and you like these kind of videos, please give them a thumbs up. Please leave a comment. It really does help with boosting the video. And ultimately, if you guys enjoy it, that's how we're able to continue doing these charity cuts. Now, I don't know what's going on with this person, but I imagine their life's busy and hectic. Maybe they got sick, maybe their mower's jacked up. It is springtime, but we're gonna come in, they're gonna get one on the Juggernaut. We're gonna come in and get it cleaned up. So let's take a look at it. We've got all of this overgrowth on the curb, and it's down touching the street. We got a little bit of trash, no biggie. We'll pick that up. The edging, well, let's take a look at the neighbor's property. The edging, it's a little slim. So we're gonna come in and get that cleaned up. We got a lot of clover. I wouldn't call it really tall, although, you know, it's about a foot high at its highest with the clover. And some of this other stuff's pretty decently high. The driveway is not too bad, but we do have overgrowth inside the driveway. You know, just grass growing up. That happens. And then over here, we've got some trees and stuff that were cut out, I'm assuming from that front flower bed, because they're all growing back. Now down the side of the house, well, it's not too bad, not too crazy. I'm gonna leave this on here. This isn't anything to worry about. You're not gonna break out from this. You know, figure out your vines so that you know you're safe. That right there looks like it might have been poison ivy. You see how it kind of looks furry, but this isn't. I think this is winter creeper, some kind of Euonymus or something. But anyways, I'm gonna cut it at the base. It'll die. She'll be able to pull it off later. Come down the side, just a few sucker trees that we need to take care of, and some weed eating. Really not too bad, okay? Well, I say that, not too bad for me. It's not too bad. Anything that's not 6 foot high, in my head I'm like, meh. All right, coming in here, we got the nice edging that needs to be done. Does it look nice now? It will look nice when I'm done. All right. Overgrown grass, it's knee high. We need to get that out of there, no biggie. We got elms and redbud and a bunch of sucker trees, a little oak, another tree, another tree. Somebody asked me about I hit a hose with a weed eater. They're like, aren't you you know, aren't you worried that you just tore up their hose? It's very, very rare that you actually break a hose with a weed eater unless the hose is super brittle and insanely old, in which case I'll absolutely replace it. Not even worried about that stuff. So, you know, just is what it is. Now, I'm not going to be able to weed eat in here proficiently until I get this stuff out. So let's go ahead and take that out now, and we'll just toss it back out of the way for now, and I'll come get it later. Oak trees, a little bit of porcelain vine, and it looks like a grapevine, right? But you know, knowing the Oklahoma area, this is probably porcelain vine, which I believe you can't eat these leaves. You can dry them out like kale chips or something. That's basically it. Now, we got a lot of bulbs here. We're not going to cut this down, but typically what I would do is once those die off in the heat, you know, because they're a spring plant, they pop up, they look pretty. When they die off in the heat and start wilting, that's when I get rid of them. I cut them down. Now over here, well, we got some more brush that was cut. Now I'm going to go ahead and haul this stuff off, and we'll even pick up the trash. Let's go ahead and get into it. What's up, Juggernauts? Hey, welcome back to another one. Before I get into the video, I gotta say thank you to so many people for all of the kindness and support, and you know, just for being there and going to bat for us. You know, I really enjoy doing this type of work. I enjoy helping other people. It's my passion, and you may have noticed on this channel, if you've been here for a while, I love helping people out that are new in the business. I love helping people out that may need some kind of help. Now, you can't help everybody, but I can do my part just like everybody else. So I hope this inspires not only other YouTube channels, but other people in businesses, not only in the lawn care industry, but other industries, to go out and hopefully give some kind of community service to other people. Now, a lot of people say, hey, why'd you make a video of it? Well, that's the type of content that I create. And you know, it's one of those things that when I do create content that you enjoy, you know, that you interact with, give a comment, give a thumbs up, it allows me to go out and create more content. It allows me to go out and help more people. You know, in my opinion, money's just a tool. Because a lot of people get hung up on the fact that, oh, it's YouTube, you're playing ads on it, you're doing it for the money. I'm going to tell you right now, money is a tool. And it's a tool to help other people. And a life spent helping other people is a life well worth living. So, big thank you to everybody. This video got 8 million views on the Boring channel. But I just want you to know that even before the Boring channel took off, the realest of the real when it comes to my subscribers started right here on this channel. So I appreciate you guys for keeping me going and supporting me and keeping me motivated. And I hope to continue doing properties just like this and projects for people that could use it and help other business owners grow. Now, I'm going to answer some comments through the video and hopefully answer some of the questions that came up through the other video. So right now I'm edging first, and you know, people were asking, why did I edge first, or why was I using the string trimmer? Well, I use the string trimmer because I'm proficient with it, and I started this and it was really thick, wet, and nasty overgrown stuff on the edge. So I went ahead and switched over to the blade edger because it was going to be a lot easier to cut through everything. You know, when they're really overgrown, I gotta say I have never been a big fan of the stick edger, but as I start using it more on these type of properties, it is much more proficient at cutting through, well, just thick and overgrown nasty edges. So it is becoming a tool that I'm enjoying to use. It leaves a very nice finish. Now, there's a lot of debate on stick edger versus a weed eater, and in my opinion, stick edger is great for commercial if they have a long run with a edge where they have to, you know, trim for, you know, say a quarter mile or a couple miles. You know, some of these really massive apartment complexes, they might have one guy that actually runs a stick edger all day, and that's his only job. So, you know, when it comes to that, it's a much less fatiguing piece of equipment. And then as far as like smaller properties like this, unless they're overgrown like this one is, I actually prefer a string trimmer because you can edge and weed eat at the same time with the same piece of equipment without having to go back to the truck. So that's actually kind of pretty nice, and it will boost your production times way up. And as you get proficient, you know, with the string trimmer, you'll actually be able to edge quicker, and you'll have a real nice tight edge. Every now and then you will mess up and it won't be as clean, but that's okay. You'll learn. Practice on your lawns that are weed lawns that you know, they're not the nicest things in the property, and as you get better, you'll start being able to do it on the nice turf properties that you have. So, you know, when I started, I didn't have a stick edger. It was probably 2 years before I got one, and then by then I was so proficient with using a string trimmer that I just didn't like it. So that might be something you're looking at if you're starting your business, or if you're a homeowner, you can use a string trimmer. You know, that's your weed eater if you're from the Midwest, but you can use a string trimmer and just do the same thing and get the same results. Now, when it comes to, like I said, an edge that's overgrown like this, it's going to be a lot harder. It's going to be a lot more difficult. You might take a few weeks to weed eat it back. You know, each time you make a pass, weed eat it back. I get asked quite a bit, or I got asked quite a bit on the other video, if, you know, how much I charge on something like this, or how much I would have charged. So when I do a cleanup like this, I would generally charge a $25 an hour cleanup charge. That's for me. And when I had employees, it was $85 per man hour. So $125 by myself, or $85 if I had 2 people. That covers business expenses and different things like that. Everybody charges something different, and you should work your own numbers around your business. Now, like I said, for everybody it's a little bit different. For me, I'm in an urban environment, and here's the thing. I know that I am maxed out at a certain point, and there's only so much work that I can perform. So you can stay competitive on price, or you can come to the realization like I did, I don't want to grow anymore, and how do I make more income in the same amount of time? I moved all my lawns to weekly, and then I started charging premium prices. That allowed me to get more lawns taken care of in the same amount of time, but at that point, I'm still making a modest living. I needed to increase my price. It wasn't a greed thing. It's just a profitable standpoint. The business has to make money, and you have to make an income, and you have to make a living wage and a salary. So make sure you're not undercutting yourself, because it's very easy to do in any business. There we go. Put that one in the back of the truck, along with, oh, it broke on me. That one there. These are small enough. I'll chew them up in the yard. That one's pretty big. Hey, I just got a phone call. I'm on the phone with Chris Fisher with Blind TV. Say what up, man.
I can't see.
Hey, I got to give a big thank you to Blind TV. I got a lot of heat from this video, and you know, I have a lot of cool supporters that went out of the way to go to bat for me, because they get what I'm doing, and I just want to let all of you know that I really appreciate it.
Hey, I'm just a big proponent on what Juggernaut Kevin's doing and paying it forward. You know, what he does is a thankless, very selfless act that people don't realize, and especially in this time of need, or even in this society we live today, where everybody wants something for something. And for Kevin to go out there and do that, man, I had to definitely speak up my 2 cents in the fact that, hey, man, if you're living your dream, and your dream is to help other people out, and that puts that smile on your face, and man, keep living that dream.
That's what's up, brother. I appreciate the support, man. All right, hey guys, I'm gonna link his channel down in the description. So Chris is actually Chris is legally blind, and like his passion is driving side-by-sides and stuff like that. So this guy, he actually owns a lawn business too. So he mows, and he's blind. Okay, so I love an underdog, but he mows and he's blind, and this guy drives like a side-by-side. And you said how fast do they go?
He'll reach 107 right now.
That's pure insanity. He wants to put me in a side-by-side, so I imagine there will be a future video clip of me screaming going 107 in the sand dunes.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you here in a bit. Hey, if you guys could go give him some love, that'd be awesome. Like I said, I'll have his link down in the description. You know, when it comes to this stuff, so Mr. Beast had said his goal in life was to make a lot of money, give it all away, and die broke. And I think that is, I mean, that's cool. So I will say, you know, I've got people that inspire me in a lot of different ways, but I've never had a whole lot of money to give. I've never been able to help somebody out financially. But what I do have is I've got knowledge about my business and my industry I'm in, the tips and techniques, which I share on this channel, and then I also have my service. I can go out and you know, some people ask, hey, how do you do these videos? Well, you know, it only takes a couple hours to go cut one of these types of properties. And how much better does it make somebody else's life? So to me, if I can do that, I'm okay with that. I can spare a couple hours of my time. And then I make a video on it, and I'm compensated not for doing the yard, okay? People get hung up on that. Oh, well, you made this video and you made money on it. No, I'm cutting the yard 100% free. If anything, it's costing me money. You know, this is time that I could spend out making money on another property. This is time that I could be spending with my family. This homeowner didn't pay me a dime. saw the house, saw they might need help. I knocked on the door and I gave them some help. I said, hey, can I work on your property? I'm a YouTuber and I film properties and I do transformational videos. Do you mind if I work on the property? They said, okay. So I cut it. It's 100% free for them. And then I get paid from YouTube for my time filming and editing, which is a skill that is learned over time. If you go back to my original videos, they sucked. But it gets better over time. The way I speak gets better over time. I've got a very expensive editing computer now. I've got a expensive microphone because people told me my microphone sucked, and I agree. You know, I've got several GoPros so that I can get the footage and content for you guys and try to stay consistent. We've just hired and trained our first editor, so big thank you to her. I look forward to seeing if she puts out some really good videos. So far, her first video is on the Boring channel and it's got 200,000 views so far as it sits. So I'd say she's on a winning streak so far. But without you taking the time, leaving a comment, giving a thumbs up, now would be a great time. Okay, now that you had a second to do that, without you guys helping and supporting the channel, I wouldn't be able to do that. Now I'm able to hire her, and hopefully I'll be able to make her a full-time employee for our YouTube business. So thank you guys. Alright, now I am going to come back, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to mow twice. So the first time I'm going to mow and get everything so I can see what areas I'm going to have to weed eat and what areas I can mow. The ground is pretty soft. I might end up having to mow the whole yard with a weed eater. In which case, all that stuff that I threw up there, I'll have to rake it up. I'm hoping not. I don't think I will. We'll be able to probably mow all that up. Everything's going to shred up, so don't worry about this stuff, okay? And then we're going to go ahead and pick up this trash. But let's go ahead and take the mower over it. Now I'm going to have to spend some more time on that edge and give it some more love, because not only is it overgrown, but it's very, very thick. So the edger only has so much space because the blade is only so tall. Even if you have a brand new blade on it, which this one's pretty new, it just doesn't, it has a hard time actually reaching the concrete when it's this thick, and it's, you know, about 4 inches thick there. So one downside to that. And if I'm not able to get it with the metal blade, what I'll do is I'll come along and cut it with the weed eater. I'll just come along and cut it with the weed eater, polish it up, and make it look straight. Not all the way to the groove, but it'll look straight. And a lot of times that's, you know, what you have to do on something that's so overgrown. And then you just work it back steadily. You know, if you come back and you're weekly with somebody, you can work that groove back until you actually get to the concrete. Right now, everything's real wet. We've had a lot of rain. So one, it's going to cut, and it's going to cut messy. Two, I got to worry about, is it going to rut? Three, I got to worry about, you know, the edges smushing and pressing out, because you mow and the tire presses it down. So what we're going to do is, I wanted to get, so what we're going to do is we're going to get the lawn cut, but I wanted to get the edges halfway cleaned up, and then that way when I come back and I edge, I'll just, you know, edge this again before I leave. It'll be real quick, shoot across it, and it'll look sharp. But before I mow, you see all this stuff on here? If you mow over mud, okay, I'm going to press it down. If you mow over mud, you're going to press mud into the concrete. It's going to be hard to clean up, and just the spots for me walking, it's going to be difficult. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pop the blower out, blow everything onto the turf, and that's going to help clean it up, but it's going to give us a better end result. And I know properties like this, it's kind of like polishing a turd. It's only going to look so good, but we want to make that turd look like a diamond of turds. All right, the yard's not that bad, the edging's great, the yard's not that bad. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's get the blower out, clean that up, and then we'll get the mower. Alright, here's where it gets really interesting. So I'm actually using the ferris. I'm going to come in and use the ferris to knock down all the overgrowth and just tackle it real quick. And I thought I was going to be able to use this mower for the entire duration of cleaning up the front yard, but boy was I wrong. Turns out the ground was pretty saturated. So you'll actually see me here in a minute switch from the ferris, my 60-inch mower, to the 36-inch mower. Now, I think a 60-inch and a 36-inch is a great combination for residential properties like this. I use the 60-inch on the front all the time, and people are like, oh, you're only gonna have like one stripe going one way. No, it actually stripes up, and you can put, you know, you can make it look really good, right? Of course, I'm in an area where you don't have a whole lot of stripes, but you can make it look good. You can cut at angles with it. You can cut lengthwise with it. Now, you can't cut back and forth from the sidewalk to the house very easy because it's just not enough space on a property like this. But a lot of the properties I have, the front yard is actually probably double the size of this one, and so the 60 works perfect. Now, my 36-inch mower fits in the backyards, and I, for my business, quit push mowing. So I am thinking about getting a push mower and actually using a push mower more on here. I have a $20 push mower that I bought from a yard sale. So if you are looking to start your business and you want to start it up cheap, that is how I started. I would find mowers on the curb or at a pawn shop or, you know, in a yard sale. And, you know, I bought my first backpack blower from a pawn shop for $100. And, you know, I ended up buying backpack blowers from different pawn shops over the next few years. I've had some stolen over the years. It just kind of is what it is with that kind of stuff. But once I tried the 8010, I had to go buy one of those brand new because, you know, you can't find them in a pawn shop. Well, now I've got the 9010. That's the blower that I'm using in this video, and that thing is a monster. Alright, so it's trash time. Got to pick up a little bit of trash on the lawn. If I left it there and I continued mowing, I'd make confetti, and then I just have a bigger mess to clean up. So, you know, it's just way easier to jump off, pick it up, and, you know, continue on about your day. I will say a zero turn's a little bit more difficult than with my walk behind. I can just stop the machine, you know, reach down and pick it up. The zero turn I actually have to climb up and down off of. But, you know, I mean, that machine's awesome. I can't really complain about it. Makes me sound lazy. You have to get off the machine to pick up the trash. It's not that big a deal. Now with the 36 here, I'm using a 36-inch X Mark. I don't like the handles. If you've seen my channel before, these are the mowers that you see the videos that go viral where they lose a machine and it's spinning. That's this mower. Now it cuts really good. It's getting a little older and it definitely needs some maintenance, but I'm not gonna do any engine maintenance on this thing. I'm ready for it to die, and if I don't let it die, I will never buy a new piece of equipment. And the reality is, a good piece of commercial equipment, you will keep maintaining that thing for years, and it will run for years. I haven't done maintenance on this on the engine in like 2 years. It will not die. But like I said, if it doesn't die, then I can't be like, hey Rachel, I need to go get a mower. Alright, so we made the first pass. I came in and I did the perimeter pass. You'll notice that when I use the mower and I'm cutting the yard, my discharge where I'm actually shooting the grass is always pointed towards the inside of the yard. You don't want to point it towards the street. There's an argument about it getting in the street, motorcycles and stuff, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the actual functional process of cutting a yard so that you're not spending a ton of time. If you shoot it towards the street, you're going to have more cleanup time. And just from a standpoint of production and speed, you don't want to do that. You want to be able to get lawns done as quick as possible, even if they're weekly, bi-weekly, whatever it might be. Cut it in a way that makes it much, much easier to produce more jobs in one day. So with my setup with the 36 and the 60, it's a 61, when I had James working with me last year, we knocked out 32 lawns in one day. We would have, I guarantee you, hit 35 lawns in one day. But we got to the point where I was like, yep, that's not going to happen. You know, I had a blowout in the middle of the day. I didn't have my jack with me. We switched trucks because we had the 85 Chevy. And, you know, I just never put a jack in my truck. So with the new truck, no jack, I had to do it, man. I just bit the bullet. I rode that baby on the rim all the way to a tire shop about 2 miles away. That rim was shot. They put a new one on. I went to Discount Tires. It's not a plug. They're not sponsors or anything. Still don't have any sponsors. So they're not a sponsor or anything. But for $200, I got a brand new trailer tire, a 10-ply tire, and a rim. I'd say that's a score. I'll ride it on the rim any day to go get some more lawns done. So we almost quit that day. It was like halfway through. We were at like, I want to say 15, 16 by noon or something. And my brother's like, oh, we can just get them tomorrow. I'm like, it's record setting day. Those are the fun days, man. Those are the fun days. So for me, by myself, the most I've ever done in one day is 26 or 27. I'm not sure. I think it was 27. I did like 27 and like 3 bush trimming jobs. So if it would have been lawns, just straight lawn care, I would have probably, broke 30 by myself. And how cool is that? You can go out there and do it too, man. You just got to hustle and work hard. Now, when I did that, my route was all over the place. And so was our 32 lawns in a day. That route was jacked up because we were going through half of our Tulsa route because we're catching up from rain. Those were when the record days happen, man. When you're playing catch up, you got to go. So, you're already in the hustle mode. You're running. You're like, I got to get to it. Everything's flying the way it should. And then, cutting after a rain slows you down, but all of my lawns are weekly. So if you want to have a lot done in 1 week or in 1 day, I would suggest, start positioning your business to go weekly. Those lawns cut faster. You can fit more of them in 1 day. There's less cleanup. It's less wear and tear on your machine, less fatigue on your body. And it's the little things that allow you to actually knock out a lot in 1 day. All right, that's better. Not great, but better. We got a lot of clumping. You can see it. Look at that. Oh, I can stripe too. Cutting these weeds, I'm gonna stripe them up. It's so hard to lay stripes. All you got to do is drive in a straight line back and forth. I'm kidding. Anyways, you can't stripe, but it's... How do you get such vivid lines? Well, it's such a crazy concept. You see, my mow is heavy, and I mow one way, and then I mow back, and then I mow the other way. And then when I'm done, I've got baseball stripes on weeds. Right, that's excessive. I'm playing around. I do have to clean up some clumps. A lot of this, it was just too heavy. Like, this is straight soil. So we'll clean that up. We'll go through and pick up the clumps. But we did shred up a lot of it, which is what I was trying to do there. So I'm gonna use the blower to kick that stuff around and get some of the grass clumps and stuff. But before I do that, we're gonna go ahead and weed eat and trim some of these trees and get some of this brush out of here. And then from there, when I blow this stuff off, I'll blow all that trimming out, and then when I mow it again, it'll polish up real nice. But you can see, got a whole lot of clippings on here too. So it's important when you're mowing not to drive over clippings that are really, really green like this and wet, because then what happens, and I'm sure I did it over there in the driveway, but what happens is it presses down, and that chloroform that's in the plants will stain the concrete. Now it'll go away in time, after a rain or two and some dry days, it'll go away, but initially it's going to look real bad and real nasty. And it'll happen, I'll show you, it'll happen from walking on it too. So look, push that aside. That's not too bad, but they'll kind of stick there. So you just want to avoid that stuff. Let's go ahead and get the trimmer attachment on here, polish this up with weed eating. I'm trying to make this place look pretty presentable. These PAS systems are pretty awesome, and I switched over to one several years ago, and I just kind of stayed with it. Now, it still has a combi system. I don't know if it's better or not. I'm just invested in Echo as far as having different attachments. So the attachments are kind of expensive. The hedge trimmer's a couple $100, the chainsaw's a couple $100, edgers $60 or $70. After a while, you start getting enough of them that you don't want to switch over. But maybe we will down the road. It's about time. I use the PAS 2620, and I really like these. Echo still hasn't shot me a sponsorship. Anyways, so this is all free. Anyways, Echo PAS system. the cool thing about it is I can have one trimmer and I can just store the attachments in the back of my truck, and when I want to get them, just pull them, swap them out. But I only have to have one dedicated unit. I only have to keep my eye on one unit. I only have to worry about one unit being stolen, and I only have to maintain one unit. Now I've got a couple of these so that if one ever goes down, I have a backup. But the concept is I don't have a weed eater and an edger and an extended hedge trimmer and a pull saw. You know, you got 4 different units right there that all need maintenance. They all need taken care of every year. I don't want to do that. So that comes down to me and my business model and what I like doing. And you know, I'd rather have one unit that does it all. It doesn't do them all the best, but it does it all, and it gets it to an extent where I can use it, and it does a great job. So like I said, it's not like the pull saw for this is not as good as an you know, 10, 15, 20 foot extension pole that you might get that's built specifically for that use, and it's, you know, reinforced to get up high up and everything. And same with the edger. It seems like I've had a dedicated unit in the past, and it seems like they pull you along more. This one kind of kicks you out of the groove a little bit more, but it's still good. Let's go ahead and get some weed eating done. All right, here we go. We're going to clean up all of the cracks, what's left inside of the cracks on the concrete, you know, whatever little bit of debris left. I'm going to sharpen up these edges with the string trimmer, catch any stragglers that the edger blade missed, get around this mailbox where the mower wouldn't fit in. Now around the mailbox post, you'll notice that I feather the weed eater. I'm not using full throttle. We don't want to beat that post up. And then I'm tilting the head on the weed eater just to catch the tip of the string, and then I'm going in a circle. And that's because if you stick the whole weed eater head down right above that water meter, what's going to happen is the head's going to bounce around catching the dirt, and it's going to be kind of not a perfect circle. So if you just use the edge of it, tilt it, and dip it up and down, what's going to happen is you're going to have a really nice crisp edge on that water meter, and it's going to give you a professional touch on the lawns. So yeah, just clean up the little bit that's left in the cracks, catching the edges here, just polishing them up, and then I'm going to go through the flower beds here in just a second. And what I'm going to do when I'm in the flower beds is I'm keeping an eye on what plants they have, which is not a whole lot. They have some bulbs, but they got a whole lot of trees that are growing up in there. So I'm going to use some different techniques, and I'm going to, which is really pretty easy. What you're going to do is you can turn your weed eater so that it's not just the string going horizontal, but you can actually turn it on its side, and then your string's going vertical. So whenever you're in a flower bed and you're cleaning it up with a weed eater and you're just knocking down sucker trees or whatever else, if you're doing a cleanup, you can identify the plants that should be there, like these irises here with the white flowers, and then, you know, tip it up and get in between everything, no problem. We've got the hose in there. We've got some little tree limbs that were cut down. It looks like what happened was these sucker trees probably got tall on them in the past, and then they could just cut them down and let them lay where they were. That's, you know, when you're a homeowner and you don't have a truck and trailer and you don't have anywhere to take it, or you don't know what to do with it, you know, you end up with a lot of debris on your property, which is pretty common from properties that I pick up and they've never had a lawn care service. That was very, very common with lawns in my first year in the business. Pretty much every lawn I picked up my first year in the business started out looking just like this. So, you know, if your lawn does look like this and you're a homeowner, don't worry, don't be concerned. When you call a professional, they are used to this stuff, and it's no biggie. It's what we do every day.
Pull up to the yard and you know I'm dropping my gate. Back the mower off the whip, let's have that yard look great. Laying stripes back and forth, the haters say the grass is fake. All they do is imitate, but we do this every day. Cut it up every day. Cut it up every day. Cut it up.
I don't know what hit me in the leg there, but man, it hurt. Every now and then you just get hit in the shin, and it's brutal. So I wear pants, I don't know, most of the time before it gets real hot. And then I go back to working in shorts, which is definitely no fun whenever you're working around like sandboxes and backyards. So luckily I don't have any more of those anymore. But I've had backyards where they get the sandbox on the patio, you know, and they cover it up. But kids never keep it inside the sandbox. You know, yards with a lot of twigs and stuff like that in the backyards where they got trees that drop limbs all the time. It's a nightmare. But, you know, I'll take any of that over a big pile of dog poop in the face, which does happen, unfortunately. You know, for a long time I heard guys complaining about having yards with dog poop, and I'm like, whatever, ain't no thing. I'm gonna make my money. I'm gonna go out and cut this yard, whatever, you know. But I've noticed the more money you make in the lawn business, the pickier you get about not wanting to cut yards with dog poop. Now, I get a lot of questions about where I take debris, like sticks and stuff like that. So we have a green waste facility here in Tulsa where we can take debris to. They have very massive chipper shredders there. And I see a lot in the comments where people say I should have a chipper shredder, it would make a job easier. We don't mess with enough material to make a chipper shredder worth it. So, you know, that's why I'm not invested in it. Now, we could also put the stuff out at the curb if we cut it to 2-foot lengths and then wrapped it up in twine, and it can be no bigger than a 2-foot bundle by 2 foot in width. So quite a pain in comparison to, and the client would have to see it out there for a week before the trash company picks it up. Or we could put the debris at the curb, and then they can call for a bulk waste pickup, which only costs them $5 from the water company. But most of the times people want the debris gone, so I'll just load it in my truck and trailer, and it's part of the cost of doing a cleanup on a job like this. So yeah, that would be something that I would charge extra to take the material to the dump, because there's added time, but then they don't have to wait 2 weeks for that bulk waste pickup to come out and take it away. Also, a lot of the times they use a grappling truck to pick up the bulk waste pickup, so they will actually, you know, accidentally dig out big chunks of the lawn sometimes, and it's just one of those things that it's more hassle than it's worth. So for me, no chipper shredder, but I take it to the dump. It's not a whole lot of work there. I just drag it into my trailer or put it in that big box in the back of my truck. Now, the big black box on the back of the truck is also used for leaf debris during those times of the year. Alright, I went ahead and hit this section off camera real fast, because I didn't think there'd be anything interesting, but there was this pile of dirt. I just kind of kicked it, and all these massive drugworms, or all these massive earthworms, these night crawlers started moving around. I thought it was a bunch of snakes, man. It just freaked me out. But look at this. That's enough to go fishing on right there. Whole bunch of them. Oh, look at them crawling in the crack. Good for you, bro. All right, let's get these guys in the flower bed. Dang it, I can't grab them. Yeah. There we go. I don't want to chop them up with the mower. And all this is going back on the turf. Handful of worms. Don't worry, it didn't hurt them. I used to eat these guys as a kid. Ah. You think you make some money that way? I know, somebody's like, oh, that's horrible. Hey, I was a kid. I thought it was cool. If you eat like 10 of them, your stomach starts hurting because everything's crawling around. They're still alive. You just slurp them. If you chew them up, they taste like dirt, and it's gritty. You know, you have dust in your mouth. So if you're gonna do that trick, just slurp them down. Although I imagine there's all sorts of parasites you don't want, so just don't do it. Hey, right now, if you haven't yet, it'd be a great time to give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, help support the channel. Give me a thumbs down if you don't like me. It's not gonna hurt my feelings. Either way, just give me some feedback. Tell me what you think of the project. I'll wait. All right, let's get back to it. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and use the blower. We're going to push everything back onto the turf so that we can use the mower to mulch it up. And we're going to kind of polish this up from this point. Now, keep in mind it was a cleanup, so it's not going to be super pristine. But once you've done the initial cleanup, you can come back in every week. And when you come every week, then it'll start polishing. And after 2 or 3 cuts, it just looks awesome. So that's something you got to keep in mind. Now let's start out with a lot of clovers, and clovers leave a lot of clippings and stuff like that. If you were using a mower with a bagger, which I'm not a fan of a mower with a bagger, just for my particular setup, I don't like messing with bags, because like on these walk behinds, the bags that go on the side of the mower, they're just really heavy, and then you got to mess with all the trimmings and the clippings, and then you go to the dump maybe every day if you're catching all the trimmings off the lawn, or you got to go like once a week, and then by then everything's gotten hot and it's starting to break down in the back of the truck. It stinks real bad, smells like a septic tank. So for me in particular, it's just not my cup of tea. But I will say there are a lot of advantages to having a bag on a mower. So like when I had a push mower with a bag, well, when you trim bushes and stuff in a flower bed, you can blow them onto the yard, get them in a centralized area, run the mower over it a couple times, and then use that bag to clean up the clippings or running over leaves, or you can even do it with trash. And although the easiest thing in my opinion when you're dealing with trash, like I was on the side of the house, is that, you know, right now I went down on the side of the house, used the blower, blew it all into the corner, and then I'm going to come up and pick it all up at once. So in this case I ended up covering up my tarp by the end of the job. But you can, you know, come in and use a tarp to clean it up by putting it all on there and then putting it into your truck. Or you can use trash bags, whatever your method is. I don't use trash bags. At the dump, at the green waste, we can actually put trash in a dumpster there. We can't put it in with the green waste though. They are very picky about that. Alright, so there used to be a tree here and there's a dip, and that's how you can tell. So it would have been cut down and then the stump was ground up, and it rots away all the mulch chippings, and then you end up with a dip. So I'm going to go ahead and put all of these chunks from the edging into that dip, and it'll help fill that hole. Doesn't fix it, but it helps. So in an ideal situation, I could just mow over all those, you know, chunks of edging debris that I put on the lawn, but it had rained recently in this situation, so it was just a little too wet. What ends up happening is because they're not dry enough, when they're dry the mower vacuums it up and shreds it up, spits it out the side. In this situation they were just too heavy and they stuck down to the ground, and so I didn't want to leave a bunch of little brown spots all over the lawn, making it look like some polka dot or something. So I took them all, put them in that hole, and then that's going to kind of level that area out. At that point they could add some more soil, but in any case it's going to make it better than it was.
Oh yes, these stinky noise polluters. It is the common argument that a blower puts out more pollution than a car. And that just sounds dumb.
Okay, so I blew all that trash into the corner over there. We got everything blown up and ready to go. As you can see, this is kind of what I was talking about earlier. The edging smashes down with the tire, and I want that. I want it to flatten out some so that I can cut it off even with that metal blade edger. You can see how far out it was to start with, so it's pretty wide, and we got to take it another 4 inches. So I'm going to intentionally ride on this spot a couple times because I want it to see how it smashes out.
Oh yes, the dad shoes. Let's take a second to appreciate them.
See that? That's what we want. And then over here you can see what I was talking about with riding your tires over anything. Clover's real bad about it. Fescue's bad too. But if you ride over it, the chloroform...
Now is it just me, or does chloroform sound like a wonderful date with your wife?
In the plant right there. Okay, I just want to clarify, that's a joke. Don't trip out in the comments, okay? Just get squished out. Or do, it's not going to bother me. It's actually going to help the video, so I appreciate your comment. And then it leaves a little stain. But like I said, when it rains, that'll clean up. Well, this would make for a good power washing video, wouldn't it? Maybe I can do that if you support the channel, give us a thumbs up and whatnot. Let's go ahead and do the final mow, then the final edging, blowing off, and then we'll pick up the trash. The beautiful sound of a neglected engine that I won't let myself replace unless it blows up. So let's hope that happens soon. I want something shiny, man. You know what I mean? It took me years to get my credit back in shape. If you're in a... Ooh, hey. Stop what I was talking about. These two people walking out of the house have nothing to do with this person that owns the house. I think they're... Okay, they have something to do with that person, but they are not the owners. So that was a very common argument and question that came up in the other video, and I almost think that's why that video started trending and took off. So pretty cool. They walked out. I need to find that guy, shake his hand, and tell him thank you. But I'm pretty sure they were just in-laws or friends or whatever of the homeowner. I never met the person that owns this house. I just knocked on the door. They were inside, and she looked through the door, and, you know. Anyways, I asked if I could mow it. She said yes. You know what I'm saying? But because of the video, the homeowner, the husband, got a hold of me, and we are going to go back to this property. I don't know if I've already said that in this video. If I have, totally sorry. It happens. I do these voiceovers over and over, and I'm like, I don't like that, delete it. Then I go back, do it over again. I don't like that, delete it. And after a while, I've got like 8 of them down, okay? So now, we're going to be mowing back and forth. So what I'm doing is, like I said, I'm going to use the tire. This is a pretty heavy machine, too. You got to watch out for these machines because they will rut. Now, the wider the wheel surface area on the wheel is, better distribution and the less likelihood that it will rut. So what I'm actually doing is, if you watch my tires, I'm staggering. So you'll get like this almost mushroom shape that happens where it pushes soil out of the area you were at and it displaces it. Well, I'm staggering the wheels a little bit so that it pushes that soil back into the spot I was at, because the lawn's pretty soggy. That's why I'm not using the Velcro plate, which if you've watched my other videos, I will ride behind this mower on a tow package, and you know, that's pretty nice. It is very, very rough on your body after several years. So if you get a machine like this, I would highly suggest working your way out of a machine like this. Keep in mind that, you know, if you walk 15-20 miles a day, you're going to abuse your knees and your feet and your body and your spine and everything else. But the other side of that is, if you ride on the tow package for 15-20 miles a day, you're going to have the same issues, but it's going to, you know, I mean, it's going to be intensified too, because you're putting a lot of downward pressure onto your feet and your knees. So that's a big reason why I got the Ferris. I was having a lot of issues with plantar fasciitis in my feet, which is, you know, torn muscles and different things. So the Ferris has helped me recover because I'm not on that tow package for this machine as much. You know, keep in mind that I've been using one like this for about 6 years, so you know, that's where a stand-on would be nice, or zero turns would be nice. But you know, I really don't feel like I have anything to complain about when there's guys out here that are blind and doing this. I have a buddy that works in the Tulsa area. He's got one arm, and you know, he's out there mowing and doing the same grind that I'm doing. So, you know, if you are a guy wanting to get into, or a girl wanting to get into the lawn care industry, it is a very good industry to be in, and you can make good money. I would say the only limitations that you have are the personal doubts and constraints that you put on yourself, because there are people that have blown up and have very large companies from this. But you can also grow it to be just whatever business you want. So, you know, if you're just looking to make, you know, say a couple extra $100 a week, well, you can do that in this business. If you're looking to have full-time income and replace the career or job that you're at, you can do that as well. It's a good business to be in. But just keep in mind, nothing works unless you do. The only way you're going to make money in this industry is if you get off the couch and you go make it happen. You got to go find clients. That might mean going out and putting out door hangers and being uncomfortable and walking and meeting people. And you know, when I started this business, you might not believe it now, but I was actually pretty shy. I was kind of broken with my life and where my life had put me. So, you know, I didn't have a lot of confidence in speaking with people. And the business has really changed who I am in a lot of ways, because out of necessity, I had to learn to speak clearly to people. I had to try to put myself out there and get confidence. I started answering the phone, because the thing is, when you're paying to make that phone ring because you're putting out advertisement, you have to answer the phone. So, you know, I have anxiety. I can't answer my phone because I have anxiety. You're gonna have to knock that off, okay? Yeah, I don't want to go up to somebody's door because I'm afraid that they might get me for trespassing. You're just gonna have to get over that. All right, you're gonna have to get over that. You're gonna have to walk up and you're gonna have to meet people. I would encourage you practicing just you know, walking past people and say, "Hey, what up, man? How you doing today?" And they'll say, "Yeah, I'm doing good." "Awesome, great to hear." You know, something simple like that started out, and just try to be kind and positive with everybody and start a conversation frequently, and you'll build up confidence quick. Now at this point, I'm going to go to the blower and I'm going to clean up the concrete and the sidewalks, but I'm going to go ahead and leave my mower here because I don't know if I'm going to do one final pass. So I'm going to blow all that stuff on the lawn, see what it looks like, and then from there I'll be able to make an educated decision on what I think I want to do there. Alright, so I went over that several times. Now it's all flattened out. We can actually put a decent edge on it because it's not 5 inches thick. Let's go ahead and knock that out. I'm going to edge everything all at once. Then we got to clean up the trash over there. One final cleaning of all the concrete with the blower, and we'll be out of here. I will have to shovel all this dirt up and haul that away, but that's no big deal. Let's go ahead and get to it. All right, what do you think of that? It's not 100% pristine, but I gotta tell you, it looks a lot better. So we are shooting in 4K, so I'm sure you can see all the little clumps. But you know, we got it in here. We left some stripes on the weeds. You know, I think some people think that I can't do that, but I gotta tell you, the guys that are like, oh, I can stripe, it's not that hard, okay? I get it. Some lawns are really beautiful. We don't have fescue here. Fescue stripes up great. We have some Georgia, it does good. Bermuda, meh, it might stay for a day or two. When it's dormant, it looks awesome, but it's also dormant, so it's brown. Anyways, so we got the trash back there. We came in, cut the trees with the weed eater. They'll have to be cut down at the ground if they're, you know, going to keep up with it. Came in and mowed it several times. One of the things I had to watch out with is to not rut. I did want to go down this several times so that I smashed that, but then what happens is your tire presses down here, so you stagger it, and each time you stagger over just a little more, and then it kind of, instead of being one dip, it'll actually flatten itself back out. So it'll dip down, and then when you come in beside it, it'll dip down there, but it'll press that dirt over into the divot that was there. So that's the way, instead of getting ruts, you can have it level it out. And that's just good practice as you you know, figure it out. That's just good mowing practice. You don't want to rut up, and this is a softer lawn, so the mower was definitely sinking, but by mowing it correctly, you don't have ruts. Okay, now we took 2 inward passes so that the grass is shooting onto the lawn. That's to avoid it from shooting in the street. Best mowing practice, shoot it into the lawn, that way you can take care of it on the lawn. Now from there, look at these edges, man. It was way over. See the dirty area where it's real clean and white there? That's where the soil was, you know, way over. And over here where it's real dirty and muddy, it was nasty wet over here. That edge came out to about right where my foot's at. But that was the last section that we cleaned up. On the driveway, we got everything out of the cracks, looking sharp. And remember, there was a whole bunch of brush and stuff up here. We got that and then cleaned it all out. And we've got a little bit of stuff left over here, like these are trees. That can go, I'll grab that. But these trees need cut out, so you know, I'm not gonna do that. But what I did was I got their lawn caught up for them, and then from there they can come in and take care of the rest, or hire somebody to take care of the rest. Now all the soil that was from the edging, I went ahead and put it in here. Remember, there was a tree there, so all that soil I packed in there, and that's going to level it out a little bit better. From there they can put in a couple bags of soil, and they'll have a nice flat lawn there again, instead of a dip that their mower falls in or that they trip in. But those edges look sharp. When you're mowing a lawn, remember to not only when you're edging, but when you're blowing all the debris up, don't leave it up against that edge. Take the extra time to use the blower to kick that into the yard, because those edges as a lawn guy are your bragging rights as a lawn guy. All right, so one last look there, nice and sharp. This one's still a little jagged, it's real thick, couldn't get it all the way back to the groove of the concrete, but it looks much better. Hey, I just want to let you know you're good to move your car back in, and I wanted to say thank you for letting me work on your property today. Absolutely. Hope you have a wonderful day.